Today's dish is easy beef stroganoff. Hi everyone, today's recipe is an easy beef stroganoff, and of course we're using about 500 grams of stripped beef. You can use lamb or chicken if you want, but whatever you use, make sure there's some amount of fat in it so it will make a nice gravy. We have some black pepper for sprinkling on top of the final dish. We have 2 cups of chopped mushrooms in big chunks, not sliced. You can use brown mushroom or white mushroom or shiitake or whatever you want to use there, but 2 cups. We have 2 tablespoons of garlic, and we have 1 whole onion that's been sliced very thinly, julienne. And here we're going to use about 2/3 of 1 cup of sour cream to soften the 2 tablespoons of tomato paste that we're going to use to make it sour. We also have 3 tablespoons of butter. You can use 3 tablespoons of olive oil if you want, if you're worried about your health and cholesterol. And here we have about a 1/2 cup of flour that will soak up all of the butter and all of the flavor from the meat and the mushrooms to make the gravy. So don't be shy with this, it's very important. Instead of salt and pepper for seasoning, we're going to use 3 bouillon cubes, beef bouillon in this case. So there's a lot of salt in there, so we don't need to add more. We're also going to use egg pasta, tagliatelle, or whatever kind of wide flat noodle that you can get that you want to put the beef stroganoff on. I've seen people put it on rice. I've seen people use ground meat, like mincemeat, for the meat. You can change all of these as you wish, and the amounts to adjust for your flavors. But this should not take more than 30 minutes to prepare. Buy a good egg pasta. This one takes only about 4 minutes to cook because it's fairly fresh and good quality. If you make your own pasta, it won't take more than 30 seconds to cook. If you buy a cheaper one, maybe around 8 minutes. But in total, all of this, no more than 30 minutes. Okay, so now we've melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can see we've dredged the meat in the flour, and we're going to put it all in here, including the leftover flour, and we're going to fry this meat. We're not going to stew it though. We're not going to wait till the moisture comes out. We're just going to fry it until it's hard and there are chunks of meat and flour in the pot. Okay, so you can see that we've fried the beef here in the butter, and all the flavor of the meat has gone into the butter and into the flour here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take it out and leave it aside, and the remaining butter that's in here, we're going to saute the mushrooms and sweat the onions. Okay, so we have the residual oil here, and we've just put the beef aside here, and now we're going to add the onions here. Okay, and we're also going to add the 2 tablespoons of garlic here. Okay. And we're going to, after this becomes translucent, we're going to add the mushrooms to add more flavor to the butter. Okay, so you can see that the onions are now very, very soft, and everything is cooked, and the butter is still there. And we're going to add the 2 cups of mushrooms now, and we're going to cook these until it shrinks, and then we're going to put the meat back in and put everything in together and add the bouillon. Okay, so you can see everything is cooked here. There are even some black bits, which is good because it'll just add more flavor to the gravy. And now we're going to just add the meat now, and we're just going to fry it up just a little bit more for 1 or 2 minutes, and we're going to add some water. Okay, so you can see everything has come together very nicely, and now we're going to add 2 cups of water, and this 2 cups of water is going to soak into the flour and make a nice gravy. And to flavor the gravy, we're going to put in the 3 bouillon cubes that we had, and this is where some of the flavor is going to come from. And we're going to let this come to a boil in about 2 or 3 minutes, a very, very hard boil. Okay, so now that you can see that it's made a very thick gravy here, I've tasted it, and it's basically like an onion and a beef type beef stock. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. And this is going to be used as part of the souring agent, as a lot of Russian dishes and dishes from around the world use a lot of souring agents. In this case, it's going to be tomato and sour cream. But we're going to let this boil for another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so you can see the color is much darker because of the tomato, but I don't like the amount of acidity in it, so I'm going to add a little bit more. This will be necessary so we can use more sour cream later. So this is the 3rd tablespoon of tomato paste that we're using. Okay, and now the color is much darker and it tastes more tomatoey because I've added the third tablespoon. And now I'm going to add about 2/3 of 1 cup of sour cream of any type that you or brand that you want. If you want low fat, you can do that. This is not a particularly healthy dish. That's why I use butter instead of olive oil. But now I'm just going to stir this in. And once it dilutes into the gravy here, as you can see now, it's getting much lighter now. Change the spoon here. Okay, and I'm just mixing it. It's becoming more of a white color. And once it becomes uniform in color, I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. Just let me add some black pepper right now. I'll just sprinkle it in there right now. Okay, and the topping is finished. And all we have to do now is boil the noodles and add some butter to the noodles. And it's finished. And it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're putting in the noodles now. It's going to take about 4 minutes to boil. Okay, and it's about 500 grams of these tagliatelle egg noodles. Okay, and you can see over here that we're just letting it sit. We've sprinkled about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper on top to let it all emulsify nicely together. Okay, and you can just see it boiling here. The noodles, we did not add salt or oil into this water because after we drain the water, after it's finished cooking, we're going to put in the last tablespoon of butter. Okay, so we've drained the water now from the noodles, and we're going to put in the last tablespoon of butter there and melt it in here to give it a really nice taste in the plate underneath the sauce that we're going to add there. And the whole time this has been cooling down. It's let some of the water and moisture evaporate, so the taste is a little bit thicker now. And there's the timer, so everything's finished. And here's the final dish, our egg noodles that have been stirred in butter and our beef stroganoff sauce on top. And it's all done in 25 to 30 minutes. And it tastes absolutely wonderful. The kids eat it. My kids don't like mushrooms, but they will eat this, even though it has a very strong mushroom flavor in the butter. And you can just see the black pepper is just sprinkled on top here. And it's just ready to eat. So if you have a request of what you'd like to see made, that's very easy. Just send me an email and I'll make it. See you next time.